Hi friends, welcome. If this is your first time visiting, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping in. So for today's video, we are going to be saving this very expensive candle. Now, this is a holiday candle and these are really expensive. We have picked them up at Nordstrom's and oh my God, they smell so good. Well, I had gotten one for my daughter, one for myself. My daughter gets them every year. Now, when my daughter was moving, I broke hers. So I was gonna buy her another one, but since we saved this, we thought, well, let's see if we can, save this and keep it. So my candle I had already used, hers she didn't. So I still have the jar. Now mine has a little bit of wax in here still. You can see it completely burnt down. And I'm gonna melt out this last little bit of wax and I'm gonna make some wax melts with it. So I'm gonna use this and just, make however many wax melts I can make because this stuff smells so good, it will make great wax melts. Now my goal is to use these same wicks. Now I'm just gonna put this in a little bit of boiling water and let it start working while we're talking. And melting down that wax will also allow me to clean the jar out really well. Now, if you need to save a candle, you can use, of course, any jar that's good for a candle. It just happens that I had one to be able to replace it. Now, my goal is going to be to use these same wicks. So I didn't bring any wicks with me. I did bring some little dots to put the wicks down. Now, I am going to be using my little wick wax melter, and if I happen to have this. If you didn't have this, you could just use a regular like double broiler method. But so you would put water in a pot and then put a pot on top of it with your wax in it to melt. But I have this, so for the sake of saving a mess and having to clean that stuff up, I just brought this over and I'm gonna use it. So I need to get the wax out of here. I think I'm gonna have to just kind of break the rest of this. It's a nice thick jar. This is from Nest, by the way. And then I have this to just sort of cut it because I can't do a lot of wax. Like I won't be able to do the whole thing at once. So I'm gonna put this in a bag. I don't want to have glass shards though, is the big problem. Now listen, if you're doing this, please be really careful. Honestly, I probably should be wearing some gloves. And if it wasn't broken like all the way up to the top, like the matte wax would have just melted out, I would have just put it in some water. Now this is such a good candle that the wax is just super soft. Now, it won't all fit in there at once, so I'm going to, and I need to be able to get my wicks out. So I'm gonna put it in a glass bowl though, instead of a plastic one, because that way and so you can see why I put it in the bag, because you know there's so many pieces of it that are just broken. And I knew as I'm pulling it apart, I don't want to get glass everywhere. And I got to be really, really careful, because I also don't want to get glass in my hands. So now I have my wicks. Oh, this smells so good. And again, you know, be really, really careful. And I put this inside a bag to pull it apart, like I said, because I don't want glass everywhere. Now I'm gonna lose a tiny bit of candle, not too much, but I am gonna lose a little bit just because of the glass that's in it. And I don't want shards of glass, so. But for the most part, like this piece here has got so much glass in it, I'm not even gonna save it. But for the most part, I was able to save the majority of it. So this, oh, it smells good. This can all go in the garbage. I'm going to take my other bowl. And remember, this is hot. So don't burn yourself. And I'm gonna just make a couple little wax melts with these. I don't want to put this in the new candle because I burned it, so it's got, you know, the old burn smell and stuff to it, or look. I don't want to, you know, put that in the new candle. And we'll let these sit, and even though the color's not nice and white because they were burnt, they still smell so good. So these will make some good little wax melts. So nice thing to be able to do with, you know, your excess. All right, so now I can just, now remember this is hot, but while it's hot, I want to just clean this out. And if you're cleaning out and reusing a candle jar, you know, this is it. You just put it in some nice hot water and then let it all melt out. And then you can take a paper towel and you can, you know, wipe it all out. Get the wax up off the counter before it gets hard. That way I don't have to scrape it. All right, so now our jar is ready to go. All right, so I just sort of look to see where I want my wicks to be. And I'm gonna put glue dots on the bottom of them. I have a little tiny bit of wax in the bottom. That will sort of like help to keep them once it starts hardening. All right, so I put glue dots on the wicks. Now, the biggest challenge I believe that's gonna be with these is keeping my wicks upright, because since this is a candle that was already made, you know, the wicks have been trimmed to the appropriate size, so they're short. So what I'll do is I will just put the wax in very, very slowly. I'm gonna use this because I want to be able to pour my wax in slowly and make sure that my wicks stand up well. So I got this little wax melter from Hobby Lobby. Oh, this smells so good. These holiday candles from Nest are just incredible. And again, I like to use glass, you know, as far as the bowls and the cup goes, because I can, if I need to, I can, you know, heat it up to allow myself to get out any wax that's left over in it. And we're going to just keep, you know, melting our wax, and this is nice, just beautiful soft wax. Our wicks are doing well. We're almost done. We just have a little bit more to melt. Make sure my wicks are all standing up good. That's why I'm doing this using a glass and slowly instead of the nice thing also using this this wick melter is that the little shards of glass that were on it, you know, obviously I missed a few shards of glass, but the way this is, all the glass stayed in the bottom. So now I'm just going to, well, so you can see this is nice and full. I don't want to mess with it too much because it's sitting up really good. So my wicks and stuff are good. So I'm going to just let this sit for a little bit and then we'll come back and I'll show you how it looks, you know, once it's settled. All right. Now this still has to dry a little bit, but it's pretty much done and you can see it looks perfect. So I'm super excited I was able to save this candle because these are very expensive candles and it makes me really happy that I was able to save it. And then, you know, from mine, the little bit that I had left, I just made some little wax melts. And these can go in my wax burner. I'll just put them in a little bag and they'll go in my wax burner. These ones here on the bottom are still a little gooey, but oh, these smell so good. And then the nice thing with this is none of that beautiful expensive candle, you know, even from mine, is wasted. So I like to do this when I get to the bottom of really nice candles anyways. So this is perfect. And then again, our candle turned out wonderful. It's still not completely dry, so I don't want to lift it too much. But by the time my daughter gets home, it will be all just completely solid and good. And she will be super happy to see that her holiday candle is back in order. Cleanup was super easy. I made sure that there's no glass, you know, on the table. And putting it inside the bag to take it apart was super, super helpful to make sure that no glass got anywhere that it didn't need to be. And everything's cleaned up and it didn't take that long. So if you have, you know, a candle that's broken that you want to save, there you go. And then also candles that get to the end of life that, you know, just smell beautiful and you don't want to waste that last little bit that you can't utilize as a candle. You can make some little wax warmers. And there you go. All right, listen, I hope this was helpful. I hope that you guys have a blessed and beautiful day, friends. And I will see you tomorrow. All right, bye.